Hello YouTube family. So I am on to do a video to help out my students that are getting ready to start college, because that is a very transitional, sometimes can be stressful time, and any tips and advice that people can give you to help make that transition and to help make that journey go better, why not share, right? So I'm going to go ahead and come on and share 11 to 12 tips, life lessons, advice for people that are getting ready to start college. Please stay tuned if you would like to hear my tips and advice. All right, so if you guys see me looking up, I do have an index card. It's gonna work into one of my tips about being prepared. I have an index card with my points on it to make sure that I don't forget any talking points. So we're just gonna go ahead and jump right into it. And of course, if you guys get any value from this video, please remember to like the video, please comment, please share, and most of all, subscribe to your girl's channel, because we are always dropping videos weekly on here to be of value to my subscribers and people that come on review. All right, so the first tip or advice for college students is to decorate your dorm room or your apartment. This is not one of those really deep things, but it's a very important thing. Get a small budget together and make your space like a sanctuary. There is going to be, I'm not speaking it, but it's just the reality. There are going to be some days that are stressful as a college student, right? And the last thing that you want to feel like is you come home to your temporary home and it's just blah. So take a budget and make your living space something that's enjoyable for you. If you're concerned about people stealing things, obviously don't get things that are super expensive, like luxury designer, brand items, but just get something that's affordable and nice, something that if it was accidentally broken, it's not the end of the world. But yeah, just take your space, make your bedding, nice, some type of wall art, either a faux or real plant. If you're into that kind of thing, or if not, if you're a guy, do some type of art sculpture or something like that. The LED lights that you can put up and things like that. Anything that would make your space feel comfortable, cozy, or just even bringing something from home will definitely help. You feel whenever you come home that it's your own sanctuary, and it's like a reward every time seeing your space put together when you come home from a long day of learning. So that's my first tip. The second tip is very important, and it's don't be irresponsible with finances. You guys, there is going to be the temptation there to, especially if you're new starting with credit, you're going to be offered several credit cards, different accounts, and there's just all kind of account options now. Don't fall into the trap of accepting every single credit card offer you get, even though you're oh, I can make that monthly minimum payment. The thing is that you may be able to make the monthly minimum payment, but if you're not able to pay those cards off each month and you're constantly charging on them, your balance is going to run up, and then you're going to be setting yourself in a bad financial state. So one thing about it, if you're new starting off fresh with credit, I'm not a credit counselor or advisor, but common sense and experience wants me to share with you to please make sure that use your credit responsible. Don't be irresponsible with your finances. If you know you got a class project coming up and you need to buy supplies, go ahead and get the supplies instead of not getting them, knowing that project's coming up in 2 weeks to a month, and then you're going to be scrambling to try to find finances to get that project done. If you're in college, the first priority obviously is always you, but right after that, it is doing well in your courses, right? Because one thing I can tell you, a lot of these professors are there for it to teach you a lesson. And so they're not going to have any mercy about you not meeting deadlines for the project or anything like that. They're going to want your work to be done, because this is how the real world works, right? So again, make sure that you manage your finances good. Don't always go out just blowing money on the most expensive thing that you can get. Just even if you got it like that, even if you have it, just manage your finances good, and make sure that you're getting the things that you need and prioritizing those over your wants, right? The next thing is you want to make sure that you do things to add back to your quality of life. We live in an age now where self-care is very big, and it's big for a reason. Number one, spiritually, right? If you are in particularly moving to a new state or, something like that, and you don't know many people, I do encourage you to find a Bible believing church that you can get plugged into. It doesn't mean that you will make every single service. They're going to have to understand that, right? You may have exams and finals and different things that come up sometimes that prevent you from making it to that church service, but make sure that you tap into a Bible believing church, because that's going to be your opportunity to find a community of people, that you can begin to create bonds and relationships with and fellowship with, in that new state or area. And if everything seems on the up and up with the church, then stay, right? They usually have groups, they have activities and different things like that going on at many of these churches. And if you can't make it into the actual building, that's fine. Plug in online. Confession, that's currently what I'm doing at this stage in my life. Plug in online, watch this service, right? Participate in the chat if you got a little extra time, but just make sure that you position yourself to not be lonely and only have your roommates and just take to any and everybody that wants to, to get to know you, just because, you haven't positioned yourself to create your own community of people. So yeah, just make sure that you do that. And also for females, get you some polish, like some name brand polish, and do your own manis and petties, even if finances may be a little tight. Those little self-care moments will really make a world of difference for the task, the challenges that you may have to face during the week going to school and or working. Get you a face mask, right? Do one of those sheet masks or one of those mud masks, but do self-care for your skin, your nails, toes, manis, petties. Do self-care, right? Because it's definitely going to equip you. Also, choose your friends and acquaintances wisely. I cannot tell you guys, unfortunately, how I saw certain things coming. When we started college, it was a lot of us, right? And a lot of us met at orientation and we were super excited, right? And then I don't know about you guys, but for many schools, your first year, you need to be on campus. Or when I say on campus, there could be apartments in the state, of where your school is. It just depends on what type of institution you're attending. But yeah, you guys, there were some people that came there, I'm assuming, with good intentions to graduate college and, get through everything. But they got linked up with the wrong people, right? And even if they were good at first, them being at the wrong place at the wrong time, or them associating themselves with the wrong people, kind of messed them up, right? And they got into trouble, in some cases, jail, or just flunking out in school because they were out, with other people who didn't have their priorities right. And it caused them to have a low GPA and they got kicked out of school. So I'm just here to say, make sure you choose your friends and acquaintances wisely and carefully. You need to make sure that you're associating yourself, hanging out with people who are like-minded, right? Whether that be, it doesn't have to be so deep on the spiritual tip that you all are on the same spiritual tip, but I would say most definitely as far as people who have priorities to finish college, if that's what they set out to do, and have priorities to better themselves and be the best version of themselves, you definitely want to surround yourself with those type of people. If you're dealing with people that, are not also in college and they're just kind of out in the city and they're living life and they don't have those same deadlines and goals, they may try to place expectations on you to be places and to stay out and to do things when you got work to do. And, it just causes things to go to pot. So make sure you choose your friends and acquaintances wisely, because it will impact your present and most definitely your future, when you're, at the end of that semester or that quarter. Stay in touch with loved ones. If you have family, make sure you stay in touch with them, right? It doesn't mean y'all have to be on the phone talking every day, but it's so easy, especially when you move and change states, it's so easy to lose contact with your friends and family. Sometimes just dropping a simple text, or, you can do a call if you have a few moments. Or we live in a social media age. Heck, make a post and say, I'm shouting out to all my family. I love y'all and I miss y'all. I'm here. Let me know some in the comments or whatever. But it will do you good to try to put some type of attention and effort towards your relationships with your family members and friends. I'm here to tell you, you won't be able to stay in touch with everyone, especially if you change states. You're going to lose contact with some people. But for the people that have been there for you, give some effort and make sure you try to stay in touch with them, while you're off and away, completing your college career, your courses, your degree, your certificate, your certification, and all that. This is a really big one, right? So safety and accountability. I know that you feel like I graduated high school and everything. I'm grown. I ain't got to tell nobody where I'm going, what I'm doing. You need to, though, especially if you're a female. And honestly, I recommend it for males too, because it could be crazy out here. I recommend that for safety and accountability, if you are meeting new friends, people you ain't vetted, you don't really know what their intentions are. People could tell you anything. They could tell you they for your good, but you don't know that. They could be jealous. They could be plotting to do something to you or to just throw you off your A game or your course. So make sure that if you're meeting new friends, and most importantly, this is to my females especially, and you're dating, meeting people, please tell a parent, a guardian, someone back home that you love and trust and that understands you're living your life. Tell somebody some type of important details that you have for that person. So for example, if you, again, new friend, dating, meeting out in public, don't bring nobody to your house. Make sure, or even your roommates, I have to make sure I put that into even your roommates, make sure that you tell somebody some information about them, right? Like first, last name, maybe where they're from. If you're meeting someone out in public and you happen to see their license plate and you're on a date, shoot the first name, last name, date, a picture. If you have a picture of them, just tell somebody something about where you're going and, what you're doing. I know it seems like, oh, that's me checking in. No, it could be you saving your life, right? I have to say personally, when I was in college, when I wasn't in a long-term relationship, I did date. Back then, I'm laughing thinking about it. Black Planet and MySpace, were kind of two of the top, things. And so I did meet some people off of those websites. But one thing I always did, my mom was my accountability person. I would always be like, Mom, here's this person's first and last name. Here's what I know. Here's a picture, and here's where we're going. And so that always made me feel good, because at least somebody has some type of idea of where I was going. I also did have roommates that I would, kind of give them some information as well. But let somebody know where you're going and what you're doing, when you're going out from the comfort of your own dorm, apartment, or home, right? It's just for your safety. Also, it's a random thing, but make sure that if you are driving your car on campus or to your dorms or your apartments, or even on the school campus, make sure you don't leave your laptop and your phone and valuables and things like that visible in the car. These can be like magnets for theft and, make you a target. And the last thing that you need to worry about is like having something stolen out your car when you're in class, right? So, but it could happen. A lot of people wearing masks to conceal their identity and hoods. So things could be stolen. So just make sure that you're not leaving personal belongings in your vehicle, during these years or ever for that matter, that's visible. Even if you're putting something valuable in your trunk, try to make sure no one's around, or go ahead and put it in your trunk before you get where you're going so that people won't know you have valuables in your car. Relationships, red flags, and distractions. You guys, I don't know about you all, but when I was in college, these are like the exploratory years, right? You are fresh out of your parents' home. You're breaking out of that mode of, from preschool to 12th grade. This is what you have to do. Like you got to be here in class. Like you got to do this. You got to do that. You're breaking into that mode from where like you're getting like directives until now you're free to like make selectives. Like you're free to select what you want to do with your time. You have an understanding that, yeah, I enrolled in college, but I am choosing to go to school. I am choosing to show up for myself. I am choosing to pursue this certificate, degree, or whatever have you not. So with that newfound freedom, make sure that when you're again starting new relationships, if there are red flags or you're seeing that, you being in a relationship is causing a distraction from you being able to be on your A game with your school, like, you gonna have to reevaluate that. If someone is looking to spend some time with you and date you, and they can't understand that you need time to study, you need time to work on projects, depending on what your major is, you need time to rest. If they can't understand that, that is a red flag. Stay away, right? You can do this. Again, there will be challenging times, but you can get through college, right? You can make it to the other side. I believe in you. But make sure that you don't let a friend, meaning that's whether that's female, male, like friend or relationship, stop you from pursuing what your goals are. And if your goal is to graduate college, to position yourself to, work in a particular field or area, do that, right? So keep the main thing. Like, like I always hear all the time, keep your priorities straight. Don't let a relationship, and I hate to be so vulgar, but don't let private parts stop you from accomplishing your goals. Like, it's just not even worth it, right? And so next, I just want to say, stay focused on schools and projects. A lot of times when you're getting ready to start class, your professors, in most cases, not all, will give you some type of syllabus or something like that, or like a course layout. And some of them are so good, like they'll go ahead and tell you like projects, or like they'll tell you everything up front that's going to be due. If you're blessed to get that like heads up of things that are to come, use it. They're telling you and giving you that information for a reason. If you know you got, again, a project coming up in 2 months, and that project is going to require you buying something or making some phone calls or organizing something, be on top of it. Like, take small steps in advance before that project due date comes, because if you wait to the last minute, the amount of stress is going to be just almost like insurmountable. So when you can plan ahead to stay focused on your school and projects, do that. If it means you got to get up and get to the school 2 hours before your class to work ahead on some things, whether it's what's currently due or what's due, like to come, do that. You're going to have to, in my particular experience, you're going to have to make some sacrifices to make it work. I was a working college student, so I did have some grants. And I had financial aid, but I also did work study and worked a part-time job while I was in school. So I say all that to say, you got to stay focused, and you got to make sure that you don't put off assignments just because they're due in 2 days. Like, you almost have to every day, even on Saturdays and Sundays, like you have to be making effort towards the things that you know that are coming up, because they're going to come up, they're going to be due, and you don't want to be stuck with a bad grade and, failing a course, all because you wouldn't just devote a couple of hours a day to keep the ball moving on your school projects. So there's that. Again, it just kind of ties into the plan, think ahead. I definitely feel like you can use the Notes app on your phone. You can use the Calendar app on your phone. You can use alarms and reminders. And there's all kind of tools and stuff out there. But my biggest thing is plan ahead, think ahead. If you know that you struggle to wake up on time and you know what time your class starts, like say, for example, your class starts at 10 o'clock. Okay, if you know that 30 minutes is not enough for you to get up, get ready, eat some type of breakfast, and get out the door and show up to class and be on time, then set your alarm earlier. Yeah, I know it sucks, because you need to go to bed at a decent time, but allow yourself the time that you need so that you can, plan and think ahead. Because again, I don't know about you guys, but when I was in college, these professors had no mercy on being late, that was to arriving to their class, or on assignments. So you got to make sure that you set alarms, keep yourself on track, make notes, write checklists. I write, and I also, like I said, use my phone as a tool to keep me on track for what I need to be doing. But make sure you do that. Plan ahead. And also plan downtime. Sometimes you do have to make an executive call and say, nope, no work. I'm off of work today and I need to rest. I just need to sleep. I just need to recharge. I just need to rejuvenate. Put you on some spa-like music, or if you are spiritual, put you on some word or some prayer or something like that going in the background so that you can rejuvenate and recharge yourself. when those opportunities do come. And also make sure you get some type of sleep sometimes. It is so easy as a college student to like get rushes on sugar and just junk and snacks and energy drinks and energy shots and things like that. All that, you know, can be used, you know, as needed to stay awake. But at some point you got to get some sleep. You don't want to keep like negating your sleep, because at some point you're going to crash and it may not be at a favorable time. And when I say crash, I just mean like something's going to mess up, right? You're going to either like be so tired that you mess up something, or something's going to like take the back burner, you know, when you just get so burnt out and tired, and you're going to be frustrated. So I'm here to tell you from my experience, you're not going to have perfect nights of sleep. And what I mean by that is there's going to be so many deadlines, especially if you're taking a full load and working. There are going to be so many deadlines that sometimes you may get at home at, you know, between 8 to 10. And then you have to stay up till like 2 in the morning to work on work. And this could be even work that's due in a couple of days. But if you have enough projects and assignments, and some stuff, you know, will be due the next day. If you have work to do, you need to make that executive decision to take care of it that night, if possible. Unless you feel like you can get up the next morning and get it done. But even then, there's the pressure and stress of like, I got to get it done like today. So I like, you know, to start on it or get it done the night before it's actually due, because you just never know, right? And last but certainly not least, even though this is going to be a transitional time, I want to encourage you guys to have fun, right? If you are moving to a new city, or even if you're in your same city, make sure that you carve out some time to see your new city, right? Do it safely. So I'm not advocating weapons, and you definitely can't have this on campus. But if you are if you have a permit to carry your handpiece, your gun. If you cannot do that, because again, you're on campus or things like that, and you're worried about forgetting it and having it on you, don't do that. Be safe, be smart. You do what works for you, but explore your city, but make sure you're safe. If you can't have a gun, like maybe do pepper spray or something like that, but explore your city around you and have fun, right? Try new eating spots, try new shopping spots. Make sure that you get the most out of the experience of where you are, right? Because that's going to help make this new place or new city, if that is applicable to you, feel like home. And so, yeah, you guys, those are my tips, life lessons, advice. I hope that I was of some value to somebody starting college who's like, man, I didn't graduate high school. I didn't get accepted to this college. Like, what's next? I hope that you got something from this video that will help you in your journey ahead. I'm rooting for you. You can do it. You can push through the challenging times that may be ahead. There are good times. There are fun times. Just be there for it all. All right, you guys, signing off, Ashley. Thanks for watching. Bye.